What's up, good people? And welcome to another episode of the Healing Voice Podcast. And I am your host, Kay Stevens, aka the Healing Voice. And I chose to use this platform rather than a TikTok or Instagram or whatever, because I didn't know quite how long this video was going to be, and because I wanted to kind of be able to break some things down and go into some things, okay? So let's go ahead on, let's get right into this. Today I want to talk about the victim mentality versus actual victimization, right? Because there is such a thing as the victim mentality, but there also is a such thing as people being actual victims, okay? And there's a lot floating around out there about the victim mentality, this and you know, you can't play the victim all your life, and you know, and no, I'm not a victim of this and I'm not a victim of that and all of that. And I honestly, now this is just my honest opinion, and again, it's just my opinion, and everybody is entitled to one, but I honestly believe that the reason why there's been so much conversation in the last maybe 5-10 years about the victim mentality is because I think one of the reasons, not all the reason, but maybe one of the biggest reasons, is because black Americans, black folk in America, whose ancestors, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, in some cases their grandparents, those who experienced the trauma and the horror of antebellum slavery in the United States, because a lot of them have been talking about reparations, and this whole reparations conversation has picked up a lot of steam. It's got a lot of attention and all of that, especially over the last maybe 5 to 10 years. This reparations conversation has gotten a whole lot of steam. And I think that's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons why this whole conversation about victim mentality is so big, okay? So, and because I am a black American, I am a foundational black American, I still agree with that term. I am a foundational black American. My ancestors were here, and they were a part of antebellum slavery. They were the victims of antebellum slavery, and I do believe in reparations. I do believe that Native Black Americans are due some form of reparations, right? But let's break it down a little bit more. Because reparations is not just about slavery. Reparations is also about the prejudice, the discrimination, all the things, the laws, and all of that kind of stuff that have been set up, and the structures that have been put in place to oppress black people, to keep black people down, to keep us out of certain spaces, and to keep us from having certain things or whatever. And this has been an ongoing thing. It didn't just start with, it didn't start with slavery and then stop after slavery. So it's not like after the Emancipation Proclamation and after the Civil War and all of this, that all of a sudden this racism and this discrimination and this determination by certain people to make sure that black Americans didn't achieve certain things, that we didn't hold office, that certain things didn't happen for us. It didn't just stop. It kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going at a governmental level. I'm not talking about individual people or individual organizations or individual groups or whatever coming together to try to come up with ways to stop black people from achieving certain things, and to stop black people from having certain things, and to stop black people from having the same rights as white folk at the time had, or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this was at the highest level. These were laws that were being put in place by the government. And it's not like the government changed. It's not like we had one government that had laws that said it was okay to enslave people, and it was okay to treat other people like property, and it's okay for you to kill them, rape them, mutilate them, do whatever you want to do to them at your whim because they are your property. It's not like we had one government that said that, and then after the Civil War and all of this, all of a sudden there was this government was brought down, and then there was a new government put in place. No, it's been the exact same government. It's been the exact same government run by the exact same people. So does that government, does the United States government, all foundational black Americans, native black Americans, whatever you want to call us, those who our ancestors were the victims of antebellum slavery, are we owed reparations? Yes, we are owed reparations. That has nothing to do with a victim mentality. That has nothing to do with us who are the descendants. That has nothing to do with us not wanting to do for ourselves. That has nothing to do with us trying to use slavery and discrimination and racism and all of that as an excuse. That has nothing to do with us not wanting to take responsibility and accountability for our own lives and our own accomplishments and our own achievements. That has nothing to do with a victim mentality. That's just facts. If you look at the definition of reparations, if you look at the people who down through history have received reparations, then that puts us, black Americans, right there in the list. The Jews received reparations for what happened to them in Nazi Germany, and to try to use it as an excuse, oh well, that was the law back at that time, and that was just the law, it was legal back at that time. Okay, well, what was happening to the Jews in Nazi Germany was legal, according to the Nazis, according to the government at that time, the Nazi-run government at that time. What was happening to the Jews was perfectly legal. Why? Because they went in when they got power and they made all of these laws. They made all of these laws that made it okay to discriminate against Jews, to mistreat Jews, to hurt Jews, to kill Jews, whatever. But that didn't stop the whole world from rallying behind the Jewish community and demanding that they get their reparations. That didn't stop the whole world from going in and making Germany pay for what had happened to the Jews. What happened to the American Indians? Yes, at the time it might have been law, it might have been okay, it might have been legal, or whatever the case may be. But when the time came to put a stop to it, that didn't stop the whole world from coming in and saying, okay, you need to do something for these people. You need to give these people some of their land back. You need to give these people some money. And billions of dollars have been given over to the American Jews, the American Indians, over the last 25, 30, 35, 40 years. Billions of dollars. Billions of acres of land. And that's reparations. Why? Because your government injured a particular group of people. Damaged that group of people. Injured them. Denied them their basic human rights. And this is exactly what happened to the quote-unquote black man or melanated man here in the United States under antebellum slavery. And it didn't happen for 4 or 5 years. It didn't happen for 6 or 7 years. It didn't happen for 10 or 15 years. It didn't happen for 50 or 60 years. This was something that went on legally in the United States for almost 250 years. And then after that 250-year period was over, and slavery as individuals being able to own other people came to an end, the 13th Amendment allowed slavery to continue and just put the ownership into the state's hands and took it out of the individual person's hands. Go read the 13th Amendment, and the 13th Amendment will tell you that no, people cannot be enslaved unless they are duly convicted of a crime, and then they go right back into slavery. That's the reason why after slavery was over, all of this convict stuff and all of this prison industrial stuff got so big and got so important. It was because now, okay, well, we can't own you individually and keep you as our slaves, but we can convict you of all kind of made up crimes. That's the reason why after Reconstruction, just about everything a black person did became a crime.